Well, let's move on now to our promised conversation on real estate. It's been a good run for real estate companies for the last several months, several quarters. However, the question that's coming up now is that with this IT sector slowdown, is there a second-order effect, perhaps, that real estate stocks and investors need to be prepared for? Let's discuss this with Vijay Agrawal, Managing Director, Head of Infrastructure and Real Estate at Equirus. Vijay, thank you very much for joining in. And that's the real question, right? These IT companies have been talking about low growth, slow growth, or no growth for a while. But now it seems they're talking job cuts. So now I don't know if you have a rough number to this. The segment that could be impacted maybe is the segment, which is 1 to 2 CR housing. Now in the listed universe, I don't know who has that kind of inventory, the maximum exposure. But are you expecting any ripples in the real estate market?
Surabhi, thanks. I think any news in the market always have a ripple effect. But if you see today, 40% of sales in Bangalore market are driven by IT employees. So definitely we may see an impact there from that perspective. But across the board, if you see general sales by the listed companies are about 2 crores. And yes, if there is a job loss, it will have an impact. Otherwise, impact will be minimal. But always market will be cautious from their approach and seeing the things, how it will pan out going forward in other companies. But if you see otherwise, the GCCs are increasing their headcount. So if any job cuts by TCS or other similar companies may be absorbed by the GCCs. So maybe we have to wait and watch for next 2 to 3 quarters how things are panning out and take a call on that basis.
Vijay, so from morning, let's talk about who has maximum exposure, if you can kind of put it that way, to GCCs. GCCs are where? Hyderabad, right?
Hyderabad and Bangalore.
Hyderabad
These
and
are
Bangalore.
The two,
But Hyderabad predominantly? And now some in Bangalore as well.
No, both the places. If I am not wrong, 50-50, you can say GCCs. See, Hyderabad has become an attractive market for GCC from the rental perspective and a housing cost perspective. So see, whenever a GCC is making a decision, they look from the cost of rentals as well as a housing cost for their employees. So that way, till 2 years back, Hyderabad was much better. Now, also, Hyderabad is still cheaper than Bangalore. So, and any GCCs don't want to rely on only one city. They would like to be a multi-city from the risk perspective. So, if you're opening a second center, you would like to open between Bangalore and Hyderabad. So that's
and
the
number of GCC jobs, Vijay, are offsetting. I mean, of course, it'll take a long time. You just have to look at IT services. But I think that's a very macro, perhaps, way to look at it. Real estate is a very micro market, right? Yeah. Each city is different in that sense. So in your coverage universe, where do you still find, fairly long runway for growth, even if pricing does not go up very much from here on, but volume-wise, things look pretty healthy. Which of those companies?
So see, I think if you look at the listed universe, Loda, DLF, Upadhyay, Prestige, these people have really reported much better numbers and a pre-sales number. So, and looks like if your new launches pipelines are good and you are continuing the launches, then your pre-sale number will improve and it will be there. And so that's the thing. Only I think the Q1, some markets had an impact because of we had a Operation Sindoor, Iran, Israel war, and this thing. So people, all the buyers sit on fence in such type of uncertainties.
No, absolutely. And that's something that Lodha cited yesterday in our conversation. And I mean, that's what they've been saying in their calls as well, that there was this Operation Sindoor impact. But I have 2 quick questions, Vijay. First of all, simple question. Do you think that demand from GCCs will fully offset the weakness in demand that we may get from the IT sector? for key markets like Bangalore and Hyderabad and Pune?
Uh, yeah. So I think looks like GCCs will offset the demand for any losses from the IT retrenchment.
Okay.
Because if you see the space absorbed by the GCC is much higher. I don't have often the numbers, but generally, if you see a 20 to 30% of the leasings are absorbed by GCC. If that's a number, that means the GCC headcounts are increasing.
Talking about residential, Vijay. Residential is what we're discussing because obviously if there are job losses on one side, but then GCs are employing and they're employing with decent salaries as well. So I was saying residential demand weakness because of weak demand from IT service employees. Will that be fully offset by GCCs?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, got that. My second question is that would you have a rough sense of, say, if we talk about that bracket of 1 to 2 CR, which are the listed developers which have maximum exposure to this segment? Because a lot of companies like DLF anyway, I mean, the bulk of their sales are in much higher ticket segments or even in Oberoi for that matter. Who is biggest in the 1 to 2 CR bracket?
I think people who are focused on Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad market will have a focus. So I would say Prestige will have that share. But yes, Prestige, Brigade, and the other place, Shobha, they will have a larger share of 1 to 2 crores sales in their portfolio.
Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. We've kind of asked all these companies.
Because the bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, IT firm hirings have been going down for the last many years. It used to be in the tens of thousands, but I think last couple of years it's come down to a trickle. And we've asked that question to companies like Prestige. Vijay, you mentioned Prestige, whether IT hiring slowdown is going to affect your sales. And the answer we've consistently got is there is no there is enough demand. I mean, it's not just IT services. Other segments are doing well. The traditional IT services, which is TCS, Wipro, Infosys, etc., maybe they're hiring less, but it's getting made up by from other sources. Startups, for example, is one big segment, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much, Vijay. Good to have you with us here. Appreciate your time here on CNBC TV18.